This moon has an ocean, and it's spraying it into space. Not metaphorically. Not in theory. Right now, a frozen moon should be silent. Locked under ice. Completely sealed. But this one isn't sealed. It's leaking. Giant plumes, jets of water vapor and ice particles burst out from cracks near its surface and launch into the vacuum. Like something inside is trying to escape. That alone sounds impossible, because a moon without sunlight should be frozen solid. No internal heat. No liquid water. No pressure strong enough to eject anything. And yet, the evidence keeps pointing to the same disturbing conclusion. There is liquid water beneath the ice. And the ocean is not just there. It's active. It has energy behind it, enough to force material upward through a frozen crust and throw it into space. This changes everything, because most ocean worlds are locked away, hidden under kilometers of ice. Impossible to access, but a moon that leaks its ocean into space is different. It's a world that exposes its interior, a world that gives away samples of what's happening beneath the surface without us drilling, landing, or breaking through anything. That means we can test it. We can analyze it. We can search the particles in those plumes for salts, organic molecules, and chemistry that shouldn't be present in a dead, frozen world. And the most unsettling part is how close it is. This isn't a planet in another solar system. This isn't a mystery light years away. This is inside our own neighborhood, a moon orbiting a giant planet, quietly releasing pieces of its hidden ocean into space like a signal. So the question becomes unavoidable. What kind of ocean does this moon have? And what is powering it? Because to eject plumes like this, you need more than water. You need a heat source, a pressure system, a mechanism that keeps the interior warm and moving for a very long time. And that mechanism is one of the strangest engines in the solar system. Tidal heating. The moon is constantly being stretched and squeezed by gravity as it orbits its planet. Not gently, violently. The planet's gravity pulls on the moon unevenly. The near side is pulled harder than the far side. That difference distorts the moon's shape. And as the orbit continues, the stretching changes. Over and over again. Squeeze. Relax. Squeeze again, like bending metal until it heats up. That flexing creates friction. Friction becomes heat, and heat keeps water from freezing. This is why the ocean survives. Not because of sunlight, because of gravity. A permanent heat engine that doesn't shut off when the lights go out. Now take that heat, seal it under ice, and give it nowhere to go. Pressure builds. Cracks form. Weak points open. And when the ocean finds a path upward, it doesn't just seep, it erupts. The surface becomes a valve. The moon becomes a machine. And those plumes become the most valuable thing you could ever hope to find in the search for life. Because for the first time, the universe isn't forcing us to guess what's under the ice. It's throwing the evidence into space. But here's where it gets darker. If this moon is leaking water, it's leaking more than water. It's leaking chemistry. Whatever is happening beneath the ice, minerals, salts, complex compounds might be inside those plumes, which means those jets are not just proof of an ocean. They are a window into an environment we were never supposed to access. And if that environment has the right ingredients, then the biggest question is no longer, does life exist out there? It becomes something much more immediate. What if life could exist right here, hidden beneath ice, and we've already been flying past the evidence, because a moon that leaks its ocean isn't just an anomaly. It's an invitation. And in the next part, we're going to break down what scientists believe is inside those plumes, what that chemistry means, and why this might be the closest real candidate for life beyond Earth that we've ever found. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for part 2. If the plumes are real, then this moon isn't just leaking water. It's leaking evidence, because an ocean by itself isn't what's important. What truly matters is what an ocean can do when it has energy. On Earth, water isn't just a liquid, it's a machine. It dissolves minerals, transports chemicals, creates reactions, and builds entire environments. And when water interacts with rock, something incredible happens. Chemistry becomes active. Think about it. Some of the most interesting ecosystems on our planet don't live in calm, warm, sunny places. They exist where there is no sunlight at all. Deep in the ocean, around hydrothermal vents, life survives using chemical energy released from the planet itself. There's no day, no seasons, no photosynthesis, just water, rock, pressure, and heat. A moon with a hidden ocean and tidal heating could create a very similar environment. But unlike Earth, this moon is sealed under a thick shell of ice. For a long time, studying it seemed impossible, until the plumes changed the entire story. Because plumes mean that material from the moon's interior is reaching space. And if interior material can reach space, then it can be detected. This is why scientists are so obsessed with what might be inside those jets. Not because it proves there's life, but because it proves there's complexity. If the plumes contain salts, it suggests the ocean is touching the rocky core. If they contain certain gases, it points to active chemistry. If they contain organic molecules, it tells us the building blocks for life are forming there naturally. The more diverse the chemistry, the harder it is to call that moon dead. A dead world doesn't produce ongoing, complex output. A dead world doesn't keep cycling material, and a dead world has no reason to release anything into space. But this moon is doing all of that, which means something inside is working. Something inside is moving. And movement is what makes environments possible. Now let's go one step deeper. For plumes to happen over and over again, you need more than just heat. You need structure. You need cracks in the ice that open and close, regions where the ice is thinner, channels where pressure can travel, and weak points that act like valves. This means the surface isn't just a static, frozen shell. It's stressed. It's actively reacting to the ocean below. That implies the moon is in a state of constant internal conflictus system that is never allowed to settle down, never allowed to become quiet. This is exactly the kind of system that creates surprises because it can't just stabilize into a simple, final state. It's being powered continuously by the force of gravity. So this moon doesn't age like a normal world. It doesn't cool down the same way. It doesn't finish its evolution and become silent. It stays active far longer than it should, and that's why moons like this are so incredibly important. They suggest that the universe may contain countless hidden oceans that never completely freeze. Not because they are warm, but because they are powered. This breaks our old intuition all over again. We used to assume that the best places to search for life were calm, Earth-like planets in perfect, stable orbits. But moons like this suggest something else entirely. Life doesn't need comfort. It needs energy and time is the most overlooked factor of all. If an environment stays stable for millions or even billions of years, chemistry has all the time it needs to build complexity. And when complexity has enough time, it starts to behave like a system. And systems can always surprise you. But there's another reason this moon is so unsettling. If it's leaking its ocean into space, then it might not be the only one. It might not even be the most powerful one. The solar system could contain other ocean worlds that are bigger, more energetic, and more extreme. Worlds where the pressure is higher, where the chemistry is richer, where the internal heat engine is stronger, which leads us to the next great exception. Because there is another world far larger that might have a hidden ocean too. But unlike this small moon leaking water in jets, it's a giant world with a thick atmosphere, deep layers, and conditions that make it almost impossible to predict. A world where the ocean, if it exists, would be buried so deep that it becomes its own unknown system. In the next video, we're going to look at a place that Dose and T just challenged the idea of life without sunlight. It challenges the idea that we even know what life could look like. Because what happens when the ocean isn't under ice, but under an atmosphere so thick that it behaves like a planet-wide pressure chamber? And what happens when that world has more chemical ingredients than Earth, but follows none of Earth's rules? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.